Hey everybody, welcome back to another Engadget live stream. We're recapping Microsoft's Surface event that just happened earlier today. I'm senior editor Devindra Hardawar, and I'm joined by our senior editor Jessica Condit. Hey Jess.
Hello. Hey, good to see you.
Hello. We are we the biggest Microsoft fans on staff? Maybe that's it too, because Jess, you cover a lot of games and a lot of Microsoft stuff too. So we're just gonna
hmm
dive into all these products because there's some really cool stuff here. It
Yes.
is a lot of the expected things, new processors and whatnot, and better hardware all around. But also, I think some really unique, innovative things that could be really good for Microsoft and may actually get people to buy Surfaces.
hmm
So, okay, let's start. What is most exciting to you, Jess? Because you've seen, I've
Okay.
been in all this stuff. I've actually seen a bunch of this news for a while. Jess is coming into a lot of this fresh, so I'm really wondering what is exciting you.
I think this might be surprising. I tweeted it at you. I don't know if you saw it, but
No, I
the
can't see
show,
anything
yeah,
during these
the
events.
show just ended, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, is it terrible that I am legitimately excited about the Surface Duo 2?
No, I don't think it's
I
terrible at
I
all.
kind of
And
want one. Okay.
it's
I don't like the
uh-huh.
middle, the crack, right? The crack, the hinge is kind of
Uh-huh.
ugly still. But it looked awesome. It was a book. It was a tablet. It was a recipe machine. It was like, yeah, that's
It was
kind of,
everything.
it reminds me of my old Envy, and I loved my Envy.
I love the envies in
The
general.
look.
And yeah, the Duo 2, I think like we've talked about this on the podcast, and I am probably the person who was most excited for the Surface Duo when they first announced that several years ago. We're still waiting for the Surface Neo, which is supposed to be their like PC tablet thing. Hopefully
Uh-huh.
that's they said they stopped work on that, but I would love to see more of that eventually. But this new Duo does kind of fix every single problem we had with the first one. It has a modern chip. It's a Snapdragon 888, I believe. Better displays. It supports 5G. There's actually cameras on the outside now, whereas before there's only one camera, like on just the front camera, and you kind of have to turn the screen around and use that to take photos. It was super awkward. They added a nice little notification sensor along the side,
hmm
so even when it's closed, if you get some text or something, you get this like just cool little screen. It's something honestly Samsung has done for a while with its Edge phone, so
Yeah.
not entirely new. But overall, this package on the Duo 2 seems really exciting. I'm not sure. I'm still not telling anybody, hey, go out and get this thing because it is really expensive. It's starting at around what $1,500, right?
Yes.
It is pretty pricey, but it does look like, hey, these are the refinements we were basically asking for last year. So seems cool. What would you do with the Surface Duo 2?
Well, first of all, I would wait for reviews to come out because yes,
Yes.
I'm skeptical.
And we
As
will
like
be
as excited
reviewing
as I
that
am.
and all of
Yes.
these for sure. Yep.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna wait for that. But I mean, honestly, you can game on this. xCloud, hello, Game Pass, let's go.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But honestly, the book, like just seeing that little kid sitting in his bed reading a book and like flipping the pages, I was like, yes, that's what I want out of my
Sure.
phone sometimes. Just a relaxing device, watch some YouTube, do
Mm-hmm.
some recipes, photo editing. It all looked like pretty smooth on the Duo. And Sherlyn
Yeah.
just she just side channed me and was like, "No, not the Duo 2." So now we know her opinion on that as well.
Yeah,
Not
it's
the Duo
fine.
2.
And also we by the way, folks, so our posts about all these products are up at Engadget.com. We also have a bunch of hands-ons. Sherlyn was the only person who was able to like go in there and get some hands-on time with these things. So she has video, she has photos. Go check all that out at Engadget.com for sure. And yeah, we've got some extra videos too. So if you want to actually see us using this stuff, she's been the closest one. Um, the Duo 2, it just looks cool. It is the thing I
Yeah.
was really excited for last year, maybe a little more functional. I mean, I just personally have not been super into all the folding phones because
No.
the IT guy, the person who has to fix everything in me looks at those folding phones and is like, you're bending a display over and over. You're just
Yeah.
asking for that thing to die. Whereas these the Surface Duo 2 and the original Duo, it's two separate screens. It has a hinge. Maybe it's a little unsightly, but I think it actually opens up a lot more new ways to actually use this thing as a booklet, as a big tablet. You can't just use it as a giant screen for gaming, unfortunately, but you
hmm
can use it for like two separate screens. I've seen people do the Surface, the Xbox Game Pass streaming with like the bottom screen as a controller and the top screen just playing the
Exactly.
game. So you could do all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff like that. It is super flexible, and I want to see more devices like this. So that's cool. I'm glad you're into
Yeah,
that, Jess.
I tried.
And
What about you?
you, we're gonna
What were
get
you
to the
excited about?
Surface.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to the Surface Pro 8,
Okay.
I think eventually. But the one new thing that I think nobody really expected is the Surface Laptop Studio. And this thing kind of came out of nowhere, but honestly, if you've been following what Microsoft has been doing with the Surface line, for a while, and if you read a review of the Surface Book 3 last year,
Mm-hmm.
you would know the Surface Book, as cool it is, as it is, and as unique as it is, was not long for this world. The Surface Book was kind of a problem because what Microsoft did with that thing back in the day was they engineered this giant tablet, a 13-inch and 15-inch tablet with a full PC behind the screen because it has to be a tablet. And on the keyboard base, they put in the GPU and some extra battery stuff. And the tablet connected to the base. It had
Mm-hmm.
this really cool hinge. It had like a bit of a gap that nobody really liked. It was unique. It was not a normal convertible. When I reviewed the Surface Book 3 last year, I was like, "Oh no. They can't they can't go anywhere more with this because the chip in the Surface Book 3 was dramatically slower than pretty much every other like high-powered laptop at that price range." So Microsoft was just limited by what they could put behind the screen. So now
Mm-hmm.
they have a powerhouse laptop where you can still move the screen around. The real innovation here is a hinge that lets you pull the screen forward, and it kind of hovers above the keyboard for like presentations with people, and you can pull the screen all the way down, and it folds into like an easel formation. So I wouldn't call it a tablet. It would be too heavy to be a tablet. This thing weighs around 4 pounds. But it is another orientation where you could take the new Surface Slim Pen 2 and just spend some time jotting or drawing down ideas. And it's a unique hinge for Microsoft. We haven't seen Microsoft really play around with this. We have seen similar hinges. The one
Mm-hmm.
that I immediately thought of is HP's Folio, that leather laptop from back in the day. I reviewed that
Yep.
several years ago. And that had a screen that you pulled forward. It could turn into tablet and everything. This seems unique. They couldn't have a detachable screen anymore. So this seems like the logical next step for a powerful laptop from Microsoft. It's really cool. I think the design, once again, may be a little alienating to people
Mm-hmm.
because it has also this weird like stacked design. If you look at this thing from the side, there's like a bottom layer, and then there's like a thinner outer layer, like they Legoed two tablets together or something. I'm not sure what that's going to feel like on my lap. I'm not sure how comfortable that's going to be. And the other
It
thing
like
is, yeah, mm-hmm,
Well, it's just like in regards to the design, that is the biggest problem I have with this one because, like,
yeah,
yes, it looks like a
yeah.
powerful machine and everything, but every time I look at it, I'm like, what is this little sandwich happening? It looks like
It's a
there's like a,
sandwich.
a cover. It's a laptop sandwich right in the
Uh-huh.
middle of this screen, and it really kind of ruins, I don't know, the vibe for me. It
It
wouldn't
kills the
it
vibe.
yeah,
Hmm.
it doesn't look as elegant as I would like it to. Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft has this really unique design sensibility sometimes. I think the Surface Book, when they came up with that, they're like, there's no other laptop that looks like this. This is completely unique. And that's true because nobody would want to make a laptop that looks like that has a giant circular hinge where pens and other things could fall through when sitting in your bag.
Yeah.
So that's been a problem for them.
Hmm.
It does feel like, looking at the specs for the Surface Laptop Studio, it does look like they limited themselves to not make this thing more than 4 pounds, which also seems maybe more limiting than I think. A lot of 50-inch notebooks like the XPS 15, and even things a little heavier like the MacBook Pro 16-inch, those things don't mind being a little more than 4 pounds. This one has a 14.4-inch screen, so it's a little smaller. But I think if you're buying a powerhouse machine, you're kind of assuming like, yeah, it's going to be a little heavier than all my other stuff. They're limited to four quad core processors,
Hmm.
Intel's H35 11th gen CPUs, which are faster than the ultra portable chips, but not the full like power usage of the high powered H series chips that are on gaming laptops. So as much as Microsoft is saying, hey, this is the fastest Surface laptop ever made, that's probably true. But you could go out there right now and get a laptop that's similarly sized and priced with a 6-core or even 8-core CPU, and probably even
Hmm.
better graphics too. This one has NVIDIA's new RTX 3050 Ti. They haven't
That's nice.
clarified the exact power usage of that, but it is likely the lower power version of that
Mm,
chip. And I'm reviewing the XPS 15 right now that has a 45-watt version of that GPU. It's just not as fast as the one you see in a gaming laptop.
mm.
So I feel like a lot of compromises were made for this style. And are you? It sounds like you're not really feeling the style at all, Jess.
Well,
Would you
so
want to
this
use this? Yeah.
no, and like style wise, and then when you're talking about the weight and some of the compromises, it sounded like they tried to make to keep it around 4 pounds or at 4 pounds. I mean, the difference between 4 pounds and 5 pounds, if I want a powerful, like portable like this, that I mean, I'm fine with that. I don't mind an extra pound or two because, yeah, just like you said, I'm not going to be, I don't expect it to be tablet weight. I expect it to be a little beefier. So if
Hmm.
that's why they made those decisions, just to keep the weight down or something, like that does not make sense to me at all. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think so at all. And the other cool thing about this is that the screen, I think the cool things are they really went hard on the screens this year. So this
sure.
screen is a 14.4-inch display with a 120 hertz refresh rate, which means it's going to be looking really smooth when you're
That's
scrolling
nice.
around the web and playing some games. Yeah. And it also has Dolby Vision HDR, and both of those things, we have not seen both of those things in a laptop all at once. So Microsoft is kind of doing a first here. This is going to be like one of the most interesting displays coming soon. And I think for people who care about high refresh rates and just the smoothness and how that looks, it'll be really useful. They're also really selling it with the new Surface Slim Pen 2. The idea is if scrolling and stuff is smoother, then actually writing notes or
Hmm.
scripting things with handwriting is going to look a lot better too. So I think that's partially what they're doing here. I guess we'll see. We'll see how this thing ends up. All these devices, or at least all the Surface laptops, are going to be
Hmm.
launching on October 5th, the day Windows 11 launches. So that's coming soon. Keep an eye out for coverage around all that stuff, and certainly coverage around these notebooks. Do you like? Yeah. Do you have any further thoughts on this one, Jess? The touchpad
Yeah,
is haptic as well, so that's kind of cool. That's unique. I haven't seen that before outside of Apple
I
stuff.
like that. I
Hmm.
like that. And like so and then the pen as well. So I guess there's a new pen. We saw a bit of that today. I've never used the Surface Pen.
Hmm.
So I don't know like how it would compare to, some of the ones I have used. But I liked what they were saying about it. Like I really like this idea of making uh pens and tablets and like really feel like that
Hmm.
tactile feedback that you feel when you're actually using a physical medium. The closer we can get to that, the better. That new Surface Pen looks pretty
It
sick.
looks really cool.
But
It is sold
yeah, so I
separately, as it usually
exactly.
is. So
Well,
that's
it's an
another.
accessory.
It's an accessory, so that's another like 150, I believe. It's going to be around there. The cool thing is that you can dock it right under the
Hmm.
screen of the Surface Laptop Studio, and it'll charge it there too wirelessly. So it is a good addition, but it is something you have to buy separately.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see like how people take just like latch onto this one. But let's get to the Surface Pro 8, which I think is the
Yes.
one a lot of people were just really excited to see. Because the Surface Pro line is kind of like the flagship of Microsoft's whole idea. The whole idea of having a hybrid tablet that you could slap a keyboard on and voila, it turns into a laptop.
Hmm.
And it took a while. It took a couple generations for Microsoft to make the Surface devices really good. But I think starting with like the Surface Pro 3 and around there, it got really good. It got really interesting. By the time we got to the Pro 7, which was the one from a couple years ago, actually,
Hmm.
um, it felt like once again Microsoft was starting to be limited. The hardware was starting to look older. The screens had these thick borders, which looked really out of place next to all the like Infinity Edge stuff from Dell's XPS line. And the battery life wasn't good either the last time
Hmm.
around. So it seems like they went back to the drawing board and they basically crafted a more modern Surface, the sort of thing like that we've been asking for. So the Surface Pro 8, it has newer chips as you'd expect. It also has pretty much that same screen technology that the laptop studio has. And it's also a bigger screen than before too. So instead of like 12.4, It is now full 13 inches. It has Dolby Vision HDR. It has a 120 hertz screen. And that is pretty wild. We have honestly never seen that before in a tablet in that space. I guess the iPad Pro does. The iPad Pros have that, but not in a Windows PC and not in a Windows tablet. So having a really high refresh rate there is going to be nice. Bigger screen is going to make this thing a little more competitive with other 13-inch laptops like the XPS 13. How do you feel about this one, Jess? And like, have you spent much time with Surfaces at all over the years?
Well, no, but I actually have one in my house now
Mm-hmm.
for the first time ever. Um, and yeah, so my husband just got one for work, so there's one in the house now, and I haven't
Mm-hmm.
played with it much. But so I'm interested in the power that these laptops are putting out compared with something like Apple's M1 chip and all the new
Mm-hmm.
stuff that they're doing. Like, so how would a Surface compare if I'm looking for
Mm-hmm.
a laptop that I can do some work on and also maybe play some games on? I mean, sounds like the Surface could do that
It could
ish.
do that to an extent ish, yeah. It gets confusing, right? Because it is hard to
Right.
directly compare Apple's processors to what the Intel chips are doing sometimes. Apple's chips are incredible. They're just really fast, and their graphics compared to what Intel is doing at this point is just much better. But the thing is, those are Apple machines, and there aren't really
Hmm.
many games for a Mac, so
No,
that is kind of the
not a
trade-off
good
there.
gaming machine. Right.
Never, never a good gaming machine. I think what's interesting about the Surface Pro 8 is that this is going to have newer 11th gen CPUs. Some of them, the Core i5 and the i7, will have Intel's Xe graphics, which means they're still integrated, but they're a little more powerful than they were in the past. We've seen laptops with those things, so it can run Overwatch in like 1080p
That's all
smoothly.
I need
Yeah, that's
to
it.
be true. Like that's it.
If it's just a bit of Overwatch that you want, it's probably just fine. Um, I think these things and even the laptop studio, they're probably going to be more useful as like Xbox Game Pass streaming machines, where
Exactly.
you the power of these things doesn't matter as much as what you can like bring to it streaming over the internet. So maybe even I think Game Pass is limited to 1080 60 hertz right now.
Hmm.
If that eventually gets to higher refresh rates, that would require a lot of data, but these machines would be really good for that too. So that's something. And beyond that,
Well,
it's still a Surface, right? But go ahead.
right. Well, I just think that ties into Microsoft's broader strategy. Like coming from the gaming world, that Microsoft right now is trying to merge its console, PC, mobile spaces. It's trying to make everything the Xbox ecosystem in terms of
Mm-hmm.
gaming. So yes, absolutely, xCloud and Game Pass are at the forefront of that. And yeah, if these laptops can take advantage of exactly that, that makes perfect sense from Microsoft.
For sure. And I do think
Yeah.
the idea that just that this is a bigger Surface 2 is going to go a long way for a lot of people. When I've reviewed the last few Pro models, the screens are just a little too cramped in sometimes, right? Like I think 12 and a couple inches feels dramatically smaller than a full-fledged 13-inch notebook. So
Hmm.
this is going to put the Surface in kind of new territory. And it could be interesting. It doesn't. I wonder if they made the keyboard wider. Like, I wonder if the actual
Mm.
size of it all is any better. Sherlyn would be better to speak with that because she did the hands-ons. But they're really, it's cool. I think it's
What
cool. It's a
was
good update.
what was the price on that?
This one
I
starts at
missed that.
$1,100.
Okay.
So basically, the price of like a 13-inch ultra portable, like the XPS
Right.
13 right now, starts around there too. So that is what Microsoft is going after. The MacBook Air starts around there. Those sorts of things. They didn't announce any updates for like the standard Surface laptops, which is typically their MacBook Air direct
Right.
competitor, but those could get an easy refresh in a couple months. Like they just have to slap new chips in there. Those don't really need new hardware. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But beyond
Well,
that,
and
like this looks cool.
I liked the adaptive kit as well that they talked about. Just
Yes.
the really kind of tying in again to the gaming ecosystem. They have the adaptive controller that's designed to help people with disabilities access their games, play their games,
hmm
and in a cool, fun, elegant way. So these stickers and these just the thought process, the design,
Yeah.
we're talking about some clunky design coming from Microsoft, but when it comes to accessibility, I think they're at the forefront. I see them truly
Yeah.
putting effort, and I see benefits to that kind of focus within people, the realm of disability tech, but also outside of it. This is how innovation happens when we start playing with different ideas and introducing new features and tools to existing products, and we realize, oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, this is useful for so many other things. I think it's really cool that they're focusing on that
Mm-hmm.
in gaming and now outside of it.
Absolutely. So you're talking about the Surface Adaptive Kit. We don't have a price on
Mm-hmm.
that yet, but they say it'll be available later this year. That comes from the Inclusive Tech Lab, which I believe is the same place where that Xbox Adaptive Controller
Yes.
comes from. Jess has done a lot of great coverage on that. So if you have not heard about that thing, go take a look. And I wrote up the news around this adaptive kit. It is interesting how simple it is too. Simple things that could make people's lives a lot easier. Transparent stickers that could be placed over keys for keys that you really need to use if you have trouble seeing. There are things to label ports and also cable tie, so to help you better figure out like which cable is for your monitor or something, and to help you figure out where to plug it in. There are also some like really cool things to just make give you a little more like leverage when you're opening up your laptop. So there's like a round ring to help you pull it open, and there's also a pull tab adapter that can help you kick open the kickstand on the
Mm-hmm.
Surface Pros too. So lots of
Yeah.
cool things here too. I hope it's not too expensive, right? I don't want Microsoft to do
Yes.
this and be like, this is $50 for stickers.
Well,
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah, I mean, the adaptive controller was reasonably priced. Was it
Hmm.
like the most affordable and elegant controller of the kind? So I really hope that they are taking the same approach with this. I
I
mean,
would
it
hope
would
so.
be, yeah, it would be a crappy move if it were
Yeah, make
overpriced.
it
Yeah,
$20, $20 for these things. To really, you got to make it price accessible too, is the best way to do
absolutely.
it. So
Yeah.
there is that. So do you have any thoughts on the Surface Pro 8? Just because I do think it could be the one like a lot of people are looking at. There are some other things that they've announced, and we'll take a look at that. And also take this time to say hello to everybody in the chat room. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you,
Hi,
Hash Browns and
everyone.
Sir Holmes and Keisha Jones Smith and Sherlyn Lowe. We got to ban her. I think I can ban
Who?
her actually.
Oh, is she back?
Um,
That's that troll.
she's back.
Yeah.
Troll. Hello everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Babacar Diouf. Hello, hello. And let us know if you guys have any questions. We'll be taking some time to answer questions as we can. This is more of an impressions thing.
Yeah.
Just to see like our first thoughts on all this hardware. They announced some other things too. Have you seen the Surface Go, Sherlyn? Because there's a new Surface Go 3. Or sorry, Jess, calling you Sherlyn.
I was gonna say, are you talking to her in the chat right now?
I
Should we
am
just
talking to
like pull
her,
her on?
chat.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course you are. So sorry, which one?
The Surface Go
Surface
3,
Go.
which is the nice smaller
So
one.
yeah, which I'm actually, so that was the one that the kids were using. They're playing around, they're taking it outside, they're doing this. I like
Yeah.
that idea. This doesn't have to be for kids though, is the cool thing. Like
Doesn't
I
have
know
to be. No.
they're kind of pitching it for this more casual audience, but I think it's a fairly reasonably priced. It's like what, $400
Mm-hmm.
for a pretty nice tablet
Yeah.
with an attachable keyboard, and it's, robust, does all the things you need. Seems good to me. Yeah, I like the idea of this a lot.
It's very cute. I've reread the last couple, and they've been getting more powerful over time. The price is really good. As with all the Surface devices, or at least all the Surface tablets, you do have to buy the keyboard separately. I kind
Right.
of hate that Microsoft still does that. So that is instantly another $100 to 150, depending on like the type of
Mm.
keyboard you get. So even then, though, like for a 10.5-inch tablet that is powerful enough for kids, you buy the keyboard thing later if you want it. It's not a bad deal. Not bad at
Yeah.
all.
Hmm.
I haven't looked at the full configuration for this thing. So what they do is they also put these like crazy underpowered chips on for the base pricing just to really get it in there. And maybe for kids it would be fine. I would not recommend an
Hmm.
adult run some of these things. Otherwise you will like want to pull all your hair out because it would be too slow. Uh,
As long as it can
yep.
stream, you got Netflix, you got YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty fine, I think. Yeah.
It's pretty
Or you
fine. And
just
also, yeah,
get the Duo 2 for everyone. Just get a bunch of those.
get the DO2 for everyone. The
Much more
$1,500 phone
expensive.
for everybody. Yeah, yeah. This, I mean, so the Surface Go, I don't know if Microsoft is ever going to do like a plain Surface anymore. I wonder if like this is what they've
Yeah.
kind of stepped away from, right? So the Surface Go is cheaper 10 inch-ish option. The Surface Pro is still around for people who need a little more power. This thing, it's probably competing with the iPad, right? And the base iPad starts at $330. iPads will always be better tablets. Like, that's the thing. I'll be interested to see if Windows 11 does a better job of making these tablets work better in Windows environment. Hopefully developers will make more apps that support that too. Have you used many Windows apps or Windows tablets? Just
No,
it's not a fun thing.
truly.
It's bad.
I mean, maybe that's why I haven't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
yeah.
I just got this PC, like, and so this is my kind of reintroduction to the PC environment, the Windows environment, and oh my gosh, I missed it so much. I love it so much. So maybe that's why I'm so interested in the Duo 2 right now too. I'm kind of like, oh man, I want to be back in this world. Yeah,
you want to be back in some Microsoft action. So yeah, oh, you have a gaming PC now. That's good.
Yes.
We will talk about that at some point.
Yes,
one thing I'll mention briefly, because Microsoft also mentioned it briefly, is the Pro X, which hey, that still exists.
Sure.
It has it has a new ARM chip. I think the big news this year is that there is a cheaper model. The Surface Pro X is basically the thinner, lighter Surface Pro with an ARM chip. When they first announced that, it had the like coolest design of a Surface. It had those thin bezels. It had like really lightweight. And then we reviewed it and we were like, oh no, this thing can barely run any apps. The ARM apps don't run well, and there aren't really many ARM compatible apps on Windows. The big thing with this one is that they're enabling 64-bit software emulation. So the Pro X, the new Pro X and the original Pro X will be able to run some like plain Windows software. So you're not completely sort of out of luck. Okay. You're not left high and dry.
I was just looking. So I'm looking at our post on it. I don't hate this. I don't hate this.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about it.
This is a literal streaming machine, because if all you want to do is stream video and then occasionally stream games or something, you want something even lighter than the Surface Pro 8 or any of the Surface Pros, like this is a good option. Yeah.
And I like a nice light portable, kind of workhorse. So that's fine for me. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, they announced a couple other things. The Ocean Plastic mouse, which looks really cute, and it's made out of they said they've made a high quality resin made of 20% recycled ocean plastic recovered or washed ashore from oceans and waterways. So
28%?
20%.
20%.
Yeah. It looks cute.
So,
it looks round.
It's mostly not ocean plastic, but okay.
It's mostly not ocean plastic, which...
Just saying. I mean, hey, I like the effort. I really do. I'm just... Okay.
Maybe we'll get there eventually for a bigger one. I don't think many people talk about Microsoft as a like input device company, but I have always loved their keyboards. I've always loved their mice. So this looks like one of the rounder ones. This looks like the ergonomic sculpt mouse that they released several years ago. It looks cute. I think it's a thing they did just for the sake of doing it, but it's $25. It's a wireless mouse. It's a very basic looking thing, but I could see somebody like getting this to go alongside their Surface pretty easily.
Well, yeah, and it's nice to see the focus, kind of in the right place. We need to. There's a lot of problems in waste in tech, especially. So hey, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's start the conversation. I don't think this mouse in particular is the solution, but it's a good starting point for sure.
Absolutely. Give us ways to upgrade our old Microsoft mice. If you've got an old like the gray IntelliMouse around, well, give me ways to make that better. I love that thing.
Why? Put that in a museum, man.
Put it in a museum. It felt so good. It was so good to have one of those things. Is there anything Microsoft didn't announce, Jess, that you would like to see them announce? There is so much talk of, hey, portable systems right now, handheld PCs like the Steam Link, or what was that thing called? The Steam Deck. Would you like to see a Microsoft equivalent, like an Xbox Deck or something?
No, I wouldn't.
No?
And I don't think they would either. And I think that's exactly their point with like cloud gaming is the hardware will matter less and less. And everything will be able to stream from Microsoft servers, Microsoft's network. You will be trapped in the Xbox ecosystem forever. You live here now.
You live here now.
But yeah, and in that case, they don't want to focus on hardware specific for that kind of thing, because it'll be on any screen you own is kind of the idea. So
Hmm.
that makes
It
sense.
it
Yeah.
totally makes sense. I do feel like I maybe Microsoft is going to be less experimental moving forward. There was the Courier project, which is just kind of dead now. But I've already talked about like how enamored I am by the new iPad Mini that was shown off, and
Hmm.
that thing has like an over 8-inch screen. It's so cute. It's just like
It's so
so.
cute.
It's so cute. I just want to take it everywhere. I want to put it on my bags. I want to stream some games on that thing. So if Microsoft were to make something that would kind of fit in that scenario, that would be good. But man, this company, I don't know. I don't feel like they're going to be taking many portable chances anymore, as unique as some of these designs seem. Um, yeah, let the Steam Deck play Xbox streaming games, and that's it. Microsoft wins. The big win would be
Right.
like, what if they partnered with there was the talk about like Microsoft and Nintendo working more closely together, like things like that. What if like the popular hardware out there just got the ability to stream Xbox games? We'll eventually see
Oh,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, right.
Sorry. I can never see the Switch like being able to play Xbox games. That's
I
not
can
that's
see
not going to
hacked
happen.
switches doing that, and I could see people
Hack
doing that with
switches.
like the hacked Vitas that are floating out there, and those
Yes.
like endless, nameless portable consoles that are also on the market playing like
Yeah.
emulated games. You could do it pretty easily. It's just video. You just need good Wi-Fi and good video.
Great.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, see, this is the thing. Sony and Nintendo, they want Microsoft's streaming capabilities. They want that network, and they
Yep.
don't have it. So they're gonna
Hmm.
have to partner with Microsoft. Will it be
Exactly.
them or what, Amazon? Like, come on. Yeah,
We'll
try to
see.
make sense.
So we actually, and we're just getting into the gaming side of things here, but we did talk
Yeah.
about Microsoft partnering with Sony on cloud hardware a couple of years ago. I think it was like a year or two ago. So
Yeah.
hey, there is going to be something happening here. You'll probably never be able to play games cross-platform, but something's going to happen, even if it's just for like multiplayer stuff. So
Mhm.
we're out of the Surface event, Jess. Is there anything you want to get immediately? Anything you want to upgrade to make your life better?
Like truly, that Duo
Hmm.
2 is on my mind. I want to see it in person. I want to read the
Hmm.
reviews. I'll talk to Sherlyn, but like clearly she is not into it, so we'll see. It looks a little uglier than I would like, but it's kind of the ugly that I find pretty attractive. So,
I like functional ugly, like if it's
yes,
doing something, if it's very like pragmatic, as this seems to be, I'm down with that.
exactly.
And let's just see,
Yeah.
how are you doing, chat room? I see some questions down here. The laptop studio is the book evolved. Biddy Balboa says, and I agree. I think that's what we have been saying. They
Yeah.
cannot make another Surface Book. As cool as that thing was, they cannot fit new hardware into that. Nintendo Direct is tomorrow. They
Oh,
also point
tomorrow
out.
they announced that. Yeah, just like right before Microsoft's event, Nintendo's doing an event tomorrow. So that'll be cool.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, listen, Nintendo all of a sudden got into streaming games, right? Like we didn't expect like all these like high-powered games to be streaming on the Switch, and I actually haven't spent much time with those, so I don't know how well they're working. But if Switch developers need better ways to stream their games, they could certainly
This is the way.
partner with a big company that has all
Hmm.
the servers everywhere.
Makes sense to me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Costa says the Switch can already play Xbox games by running Android on it. That is, yeah. But then
I
you're banned
exactly.
from Nintendo for life. So yeah.
That's yeah, can, but if. What was your favorite little gadget today? What
I
one would you
think
actually pick up?
the one that makes me go whoa is certainly the Surface Laptop Studio. As much
Yeah.
as I have trouble like problems with it, and I feel like it could be like faster with a better chip in there. I want to see how it works. I want to see how that hinge works. Microsoft has been doing a lot of great hinge design over the years.
Yeah.
It sounds funny to say, but like hinges kind of matter to everything we're talking about. When we're talking about dual screen phones, when we're even talking about laptops and convertible laptops, the hinge is
Hmm.
kind of what makes all that possible. So they have a lot of good tech for doing this stuff. And I'm intrigued to see like how this one works and how smooth it feels. um
So you like the
yeah,
sandwich. You like the
I like
laptop
the sandwich.
sandwich. Well,
I'm
there it is.
intrigued by it. I wouldn't say I do like it. I wouldn't say I'm in love with it right now. It could probably, I don't know if it's fully going to satisfy my gadget list over here, but it looks really cool and I'm excited to test it out. So we will hopefully be looking at this hardware soon. I'm
Hmm.
excited to take a look at all the computers, or at least most of those computers. I believe Trillin will eventually get to see the Duo 2 for a longer time because she reviewed the Duo 1. And, we'll see how all this goes. I'll send you something to review. Jess, how about that? We'll
Please
figure it
send me
out.
the Duo 2. I'll let you know.
You can review the Duo 2, or we'll figure all this out from Jess's perspective.
We
Thank
will
you,
do
everybody. Yeah.
dueling Duo 2 reviews. There we go.
Ooh. Duo
There
2
we go.
from a
All right,
gamer's perspective sounds like a good piece, to be honest. So
I
chat room.
sounds like a
Yeah.
video.
Let us know what you think. Drop some comments here. We'll also be doing the Engadget podcast live tomorrow morning, where Sherlyn and I will be talking about all this stuff. So that's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern. Usually we broadcast live. So check us out live right here on the YouTube channel. And, we will see what else is up. Thank you all for joining us. And Jess, where can we find you on the internet?
At Jess Condit on Twitter and at Jess L. Condit on Instagram. Ba-bum.
There you go. I'm at Devindra on Twitter. Check out the Engadget podcast, which I do with Sherlyn every week. So subscribe to that if you want to hear more of our banter. And we try to get Jess on as much as we can because it's always fun to chat with Jess.
I love it.
Thank you so much, folks. And yeah, check out the rest of our Surface coverage. We will see you all later. Later.
Peace.